Hey, how's it going, guys? This is Tom from UDS with another edition of UDS Interviews, our series where I chat to people a lot cooler than myself in this wonderfully weird, nebulous lockdown time we live in. No one knows what's going on anymore. But anyway, my guest this week is an alternative rock band that combines the best of emo and post-rock influences with thoughtful, introspective lyrics to create one of the most exciting sounds to come out of the UK scene. Here to talk about their upcoming debut album, it is my pleasure to introduce Alex Birchall of arguably the most handsomest band performing today, Redwood.
That's very kind of you. Thank you. What an intro. I don't think I've ever been introduced so brilliantly before. So yeah,
I speak no lie. I speak no lie. How are you doing in these strange times that we live in?
Oh man, it's been crazy. It's been really crazy. But I think I've found a lot of solace in like writing music at this time as well. So there's been like, you know, a bit of give and take. I think at the start of it as well, it's like no inspiration anywhere. I was just like, this just sucks. But now kind of not coming out of it, but now I think everyone's getting a bit used to this weird dystopian thing we're living in now. It's a bit easier to cope and get on with stuff. So I would say like a 6 out of 10 I've been doing. So not bad, but not fantastic.
Slightly better than average. So has writing kind of been your main creative output at the moment then?
Yeah, absolutely. It's been great because we're all really well connected, like band-wise, with like Logic and stuff and like everything we record. So literally just been like recording like some bits and being like, hey guys, what do you think of this? I do this thing every day when I record art, Snapchat them a bit of like, that's the only reason I use Snapchat now. It's just to, like my like mates, like little bits of the songs and that kind of stuff. So yeah, but no, it's been great. Been a really good outlet for that kind of stuff as well. And I think some really cool stuff to come out of it. But we probably have like another 2 albums pretty ready to go like now.
Very exciting. But for the unfortunate few that may not have heard of you guys yet, could you quickly just introduce Redwood, the band?
Yeah, of course. So it's 5 of us. There's 3 guitarists, bass and drums, of course. We've been going for about, I don't know, like 4 or 5 years now in a few different lineups. We've settled our last one for the last kind of 4 years or so. We kind of come from Hertfordshire. We've all been pretty spread out. We went to different universities. I went to Bristol, Jay went to Leeds. And that's where I also met Eden, our guitarist, who joined as well in Bristol. So he was on the same course as me and we just love the same music. I think we're the only 2 people on our course that like that kind of music. Everyone else was like into kind of like drum and bass, which isn't a bad thing, just, you know, it wasn't our kind of thing. So we obviously bonded and then that became a thing. But yeah, me and Jamie have been writing music together since we were like 18 as well. We met in like 6th form or like year 11 and just saw him playing in the practice rooms. And I was like, oh, very good at guitar. And ever since I've just been, you know, jealous of his guitar skills. So yeah, that's kind of mostly about us. But yeah, we just love writing music and playing shows together, really.
Very cool. And obviously, Alex, we're both friends here. And one of the ways I like to get to know my friends just that little bit better is asking the hard-hitting questions. And that is, if you were a type of sandwich, what kind of sandwich would you say best represents you as a person?
That is a very good question. I'm going to first say it's going to be vegan because I'm a vegan. So it's going to be that.
Fair enough.
I'm sure. But I'd say a classic. I'd go for like a vegan BLT, man. I love, you know, bacon, tomato, lettuce, and some like mayo in there as well. And maybe even with toasted bread. A little extra texture in there,
decadent. It's one of those ones that's it's easy to do okay. It's very hard to master.
Yes.
But when you get it right, none of this shop bought crap. When you go, you make your own bacon, you get your own lettuce, and you assemble it where it's to that point where you can hardly get the second slice of bread to close down on the sandwich. Then you know you're onto a winner. That's it.
First, you know.
It's got to be a challenge. You've got to feel like you've earned it once you finish it. So I can dig it. Good choice. But we're just here to talk about sandwiches as much as I would love to spend the next half an hour talking about sandwiches. We are here to talk about your debut full-length album, Beside a Shallow Sun, which is out very, very soon now. It's out November 6th, I believe, if I've got my dates correct. Fantastic. What can people expect from this release?
So I think that the way we like to sum it up is it feels like the release we've been waiting to release since forever, because it's like there's songs from like 3 years ago on there and songs from like 3 months ago on there. So it's like a real big, a wide spectrum of kind of sound and that kind of stuff as well. I think that when we're listening back to it now as well, some of the songs sound a little bit like naive in a way, like just because when we're younger, we like to just throw everything against the wall, as many riffs as we can possibly do. But we still really like that. Like, and that still represents who we are as people and like what kind of music we're like listening to. There's definitely like a journey in the album as well. I like to think that some of the songs like a lot more mature and straight up, but some of those are my favorites. And it's not to say that I don't, that I wouldn't say that they're any less interesting. It's just they take a different route, I'd say. So I think what they can expect is a lot of hard hitting choruses, some real heavy bits, but some real soft, delicate bits. And I think I've been the most open lyrically I've ever been on a release with this kind of stuff. It was a bit like listening back to some of it, I'm a bit like, oh, like that's, very personal, but disguised in, music and twinkly guitars. So it's fine. But I think it's important to be, forthright and honest with this kind of stuff, because it's your one chance to demonstrate that piece of you that you sit there and you write with. So it's nice that I think we've, authentically communicated that in the music.
It's very interesting you say that, because I was reading that your writing process allowed you to get some clarity on some more sort of subconscious thoughts that were going around in your head. And I know from experience that anything introspective can be equal parts really enjoyable, but also can be kind of painful to sort of delve that far into yourself. So how did you find the writing process over such a lengthy amount of time?
It's funny because I feel like I can, for myself as well, because obviously writing the lyrics, I feel like I can feel my narrative changing and that kind of stuff in some of the songs, which is quite nice because I think it shows like, some from ages like 22 to 24. I know I'm not exactly old or anything, but like, if I feel like I definitely did grow, but you don't feel it day to day. But then when you look back at how you see situations and how you cope with stuff, it is different. I feel like a lot of like the younger songs I wrote, it was a lot of me like contemplating stuff and thinking stuff is unfair and thinking like, being in this kind of place that like you feel like you're stuck in. Whereas the older I've got, I feel like subconsciously my lyrics have kind of been a bit more kind of like nostalgic for that kind of feeling, or just being a bit more like aware of things and how they work, and just a bit more like acceptance in them and a bit more kind of looking forward than looking back, which wasn't necessarily something I did consciously, but it's nice to see that there is a change there and I'm still not stuck in the mindset I was when I was 18, 19, 20, because obviously everyone likes to mature, right?
Well, yeah, I mean, I if I had met 18-year-old me, I'd want to punch him in the face because that guy was an idiot. But yeah, that's my favorite kind of music, is the one where it's almost like an audible diary in a sense, because that's the way you really connect to the vocalist, to the artist, and the wider band as an extension. And yeah, I think listening to the little snippets that I've heard of the album so far, you really hear that resonate through in the music. So I cannot wait to hear the rest of it in about a month's time, or just over a month's time. But obviously you get a lot of praise for not just your music, but for your album and record artwork that goes along with the releases. Is this something that's designed in-house by the band, or how does the artwork come about for you guys?
So artwork-wise, we're super, super selective about that. So usually for us, it's like a case of I like to look for a piece that's already done that we like, and then we can contact the artist and then talk about using it for our work, that kind of stuff. But we've worked with some amazing people, like just to name a few, like Ben Giles did our Blood Moon album art. I think that was like the first one that when people were like, oh wow, because I feel like when you're buying a record or looking at a record, like the first thing is the artwork. Like I've been put off by some bands because their artwork, and I listen to them, I'm like, oh, this is actually an amazing band. I should not be this, prejudice towards artwork, but like it is a factor. So I feel like it's the first line of kind of like interest that can grab people. So yeah, Ben Giles is amazing, and he did like a lot of collage work, which first sparked our kind of interest in that. The next person we used for that one, actually, product placement, was Charlie Elms. So he's 10 Years Time. His name is on Instagram. He was fantastic to work with as well. And he just really like kind of worked with us on design. So that was like a piece he'd had very similarly already. And we just kind of asked him to change like a few little bits of it, but that was incredible as well. And for the most recent one, it took us ages to find, because the last 2 releases we put out, we were really focused on this kind of like collagey design, because we felt like it worked with our music well, and it kind of looked how our music sounds, if that makes sense. And it took us ages and ages and ages to find the artwork for Beside a Shallow Sun, which is actually there as well. I didn't do this on purpose, I swear.
Sure.
I know, yeah. And so we found a person called Guru George on Instagram. That was a piece of artwork she had, which we all immediately were just like, we love that, because it's so different to our last ones. And we feel like it, again, kind of sums up this bit more of like our streamline sound. We're going for a bit more kind of like less is more, kind of like doing, because usually we'd have like, 20 guitar parts going at the same time, but we tried to see if we could still achieve the same feeling and output with less. So I feel like the artwork kind of sums it up as well. And for our merch designs recently we've done as well, we've had some really fantastic people as well, which all over our Instagram you can see that kind of stuff as well. Her name on Instagram is Ugly Earrings, and she makes like the most incredible like handmade like earrings and stuff. And she was really great to work with and just made us some really, really cool stuff. So yeah, we're just, artwork for us is incredibly important. Anything visual, for me, arguably is as important as the music.
100%, especially nowadays. I think I was reading that it was either this month or very recently that vinyl record sales have surpassed CDs for the first time since the 80s. And I think that's indicative that people want not just, vinyl because in theory it does sound better, but also because it's that visual package that is more tangible. You can hold it in your hands, you can frame it if you want and everything. And I think you're absolutely right that getting the artwork is almost it's intrinsic to the package that you're consuming, and it has to reflect that. If you were just releasing a blank CD with just a Sharpie of your name on it, it wouldn't feel the same. And I definitely think that the spirit of Redwood definitely shows through in the artwork. It's definitely some of the best, and I think as I said at the start, it's definitely getting some recognition. At least what I've seen on Twitter, people are putting it up there with like Neutral Milk Hotel's iconic album artwork is some of the best they've ever seen. So it's definitely getting the acclaim it deserves.
Oh, that's really, really nice to hear. Yeah.
Well, no one can tour at the moment, which is not to put too much of a downer on things, but it definitely sucks. But we're looking back to better times when people could hit the road. Have you got any interesting or funny tour stories, both legal or otherwise, that you can share with the world?
Yeah, I've got some like kind of gross ones as well. Like we played this like, I think it was in Hamburg. We played this like squat. And it's like, we played a few squats in Germany and some of them are just amazing. Like, obviously, Germany is the best place to tour ever. Everyone is so lovely there, and you actually get fed and paid and like a place to sleep. But we have a few, but this one for me was just the grossest, and it was a real low. And I was like in this venue, and we showed up, and it was like literally like chipboard walls kind of thing. So it was kind of cool. Like, okay, cool. And we got there, and we're all really tired. Like outside the venue, it was like loads of like just like random people, like kind of like staring into our van and that kind of stuff. And then we were a bit like, oh no, but like we were gonna like break into our van and stuff. And then I was like feeling really like tired and ill. And then they like we had like a whatever like food we could get kind of stuff like that, and this guy brought over just like some white bread and tofu, which is obviously still generous of him to give, but I was just like, I was so hungry, I was like, I took one bite of it and then something shifted in my mouth. I was like, oh no, and just like half my tooth just like fell out into the venue. Like I was like, I don't know what's going on there, but it was like my wisdom tooth. I was just like sat there. I was like, I'm on tour in Germany. I've just bitten into a tofu sandwich and a piece of my tooth has just fallen out to stay in this venue for the rest of its existence. And I was like, wow, I'm going to call my mum.
So you left a little part of yourself in Hamburg. So there's something poetic about that. Oh man, but Hamburg is probably my favorite place in Europe. What a city. It's so nice. It's a shame that all property in Germany is ludicrously expensive. Otherwise I would definitely move there. Maybe I could just move to a squat and just eat really hard tofu sandwiches for the rest of my life. That's existent. Yeah. I mean, Yeah, I'm sure some I don't know, squatter in Germany has made it into a necklace now or something like that. That's something to think about. I don't know where I'm going with this conversation, so I'm going to segue quite nicely to the next one, which is here at UDS, we don't just talk about music. We talk about the breadth of pop culture. We talk movies, we talk video games, comic books, everything that's cool. We'll have a chat about it. So with that in mind, if you could have a Redwood song featured in anything at all, what would it be?
Oh, that's a really good question. And I actually have an answer because I was thinking about this the other day. So if we're going to feature anything, definitely be a film, because I feel like lots of our music is quite film orientated. But there's this film called Beautiful Boy that I've watched like 5 times. And it's with Timothy Chalamet and Steve Carell. And the soundtrack is just amazing. Like it's got like Mogwai, Sigur Rós, that kind of stuff in it. And I was literally listening to it and I was just like, I could definitely hear a Redwood song be in this. So for me, it'd be like a big, like emotional film where like something's happened and like they're just coming to this part and there's this like emotional crux kind of thing happening. And I'd love like a big, like atmospheric burst of a Redwood song happen there, I reckon.
I can see. I've not seen that film. I have to check it out.
Really good.
To be honest, the only thing that I've seen Timothy Chalamet in is the new Dune trailer, which also looks amazing. And yeah. I could kind of see a Redwood song featured in that as well, in sort of a weird way. That'd be pretty dope.
Love that.
But other than that's looking way too far into the future, because that's at like 500 years in the future. Looking at the next few months, what does the rest of 2020 have in store for you guys, as well as the album release?
So hopefully quite a lot. So we're doing our best to kind of like do what we can with obviously COVID and everything right now. So we're going to record as much as we physically can. I think we're going to do some like social distance acoustic sessions and stuff soon as well, like of the album. We're going to be releasing new music videos. We're going to be releasing more merch. We're going to do some like kind of like live kind of like at home kind of shows and that kind of stuff as well. So I think everything we've done before, we're going to be doing that, but like times a billion. Like now that we've got this full length release, we really want to make it, you know, impact the way that we want it to. So yeah, across all fronts, merch, virtual shows, you know, vinyl releases, merch releases, and obviously music videos as well. So everything we could possibly do, I'm going to do it.
Can't stop, won't stop. Very cool. Yeah. Very cool. Yeah. I've definitely been digging. Not. This isn't an obvious plug. This is me just saying this is interesting. But some of the bundles that you can get with the vinyl are pretty cool as well. That is some nice merch on that hoodie right there.
Oh yeah, we love that one as well. We're releasing another. We're releasing a long sleeve really soon. We'll release our next single as well with a wicked design done by Ugly Earrings as well. So check that.
I don't know if you can see, I'm a big fan of a long sleeve. It doesn't matter how hot it is over here, because it is fucking boiling here. I will always rock the long sleeve.
Yeah,
a man of taste. And I've had to shut my window and turn off my fan, because otherwise it'd pick up on the mic. So this is true reverence for the long sleeve, and so I will definitely be checking that out. But in the meantime, the last traditional question we always ask is, we are Upside Down Shark, and don't ask me why we're Upside Down Shark. It's a name we thought up many moons ago, and we're in way too deep to change it now. But anyway, with that in mind, what is your favorite shark? And it can be real, it can be fictional, it could be something from a movie or something from real life. But what would you say your favorite shark is?
Damn. All right, I'm going to make a made-up one because, you know, I can sit here and name you a shark that, you know, I'd say I'd like a shark that was a shark body with human legs and human arms, because that would be absolutely terrifying.
That would
Imagine
be
like, coming out at you at the beach, like people would run. It'd be like the apex predator, wouldn't it? Because I'm already terrified of sharks as it is. Like even like in Cornwall in the sea, I'm just like, God. But imagine that coming towards you and grabbing you.
I was going to say this leads to follow-up questions, and that is it just bipedal like a human, or can it sort of go on all fours and like absolutely pace it at you? Because I might try and draw this now, because this is a terrifying concept.
So it can run on all fours, it can stand up, it can run just on its hands. It's very, very evolved, and it's very, very scary. And also so, you know.
It also has a tattoo of itself on its arm as well, on its human arm.
And a mum and a heart on the other arm.
It sounds terrifying. And if that's not on the next album artwork, then I'm going to be a little bit disappointed. So, but anyway. But seriously, it's been an absolute pleasure chatting to you, Alex. So the last real question I have to ask you is, where can people find you guys online?
So on Instagram, Spotify, Twitter, Facebook, everything. Do definitely check out our Spotify as well. So we've just released a new single called 8 My Weight as well, and that's on our Spotify at the moment. It's under the name Redwood. I'm sure when we put this video up on Twitter, you'd obviously tag our social and that kind of stuff. But yeah, feel free to follow us on Instagram as well, and Twitter and Facebook. We're going to be posting a lot of content coming soon as well. So there's lots to look out for on our stories and that kind of stuff as well. So please do check us out. And obviously, if you feel free to like message us if you have any questions, want to know more stuff. But yeah, always DMs are always open for everyone.
Very good, very good. Slide into those Redwood DMs. But as I say, thank you so much for your time. It's been an absolute pleasure. And hopefully when the world is a little bit less on fire, we can do this in person sometime, maybe at a show, because that sounds pretty cool.
Yeah, sounds great. Definitely, let's do it.
Awesome, awesome. It's a date. And for anyone watching at home, make sure to pick up Beside a Shallow Sun out November 6th, wherever you find good music. We'll put a link to everything you need to know in the description below. Hit subscribe for more interviews with all sorts of creative folk from around the world, and we shall catch you next time.